Good morning, everybody. All my elected reps, come up here with us for a moment. So my elected officials, if you can join me, our state reps and city councilors and are we here? Our mayors. Just really quickly, going down memory path just for a little bit. 4 years ago at the Victory Theater, for folks that remember, we gathered for a moment just like this one today in this space. And at that time, I proudly stood before you and endorsed Maura Healey for governor. And today, I stand here once again alongside our governor to reaffirm my full support for Governor Maura Healey and Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll as they seek re-election because their leadership has been clear, their vision has been strong, and their commitment to not only Holyoke but communities everywhere in the Commonwealth has certainly been unwavering. Yes, you can clap. And they're no strangers to Holyoke, and by the powers invested in me, I do want to make you honorary Hoyokers. Here are Holyoker pins. 4 years ago during that event, we talked about three important Holyoke things. We talked about housing, we talked about local control of the Holyoke Public Schools, and we also talked about, yes, our beloved Victory Theater. That's right, you can clap for that. Yeah. And I have to say that the governor and her team, they delivered on every single one. And they didn't just come forward with words, but they followed through with action. The first thing I'll say on the housing subject, the Healey-Driscoll team has stepped up in a very big way, supporting both affordable housing and market rate development right here in Holyoke. And here's something that you might have not known. Holyoke's affordable housing stock 4 years ago, the last time we checked, was about 19.34%. And I'm confident with the completion of recent affordable housing stocks, such as the South Holyoke Homes, and I do see Matt Mainville here, the Housing Authority. Thank you so much. And even Appleton Mills, that the number is a little higher. And we have the highest percentage in the entire state, more than double even the statewide average, which stands at 9.68%. We're number one in the Commonwealth per capita. The rate even surpasses our three largest metropolitan cities and puts us on par with Boston at 19.20%. Remember, we're at 19.34. Those aren't just numbers. That's opportunity, that's stability, that's progress, and that's proof of Holyoke's longstanding partnership with the Commonwealth of looking out for our most vulnerable people. It's in our DNA to lead in creating a community where everybody has a place to call home. And thanks to the support of our governor and the compassion of this city, we're not just doing more of what we've done in the past. We're also investing big in market rate housing too, so we can balance the economic scale and keep our downtown vibrant. Because when people's economic circumstances improve, they should have options too. I think leaders before us have done an extraordinary job doing what we need to do to take care of our most vulnerable, but we never really thought about what happens when people's situations improve. And so, in a very big way, this administration has invested heavily in market rate development. And so I'm proud to say, since we've taken office 4 years ago and projected out for the next 4 years, we're on track to achieve roughly 700 plus new housing units coming to life in our city here, just within our municipal boundaries. That's the power of local and state partnerships, working hand in hand with developers, both nonprofits and privates, some of who are in the room today. That's the power of collaboration and working together in partnerships. On her commitment to the Victory Theater, a cornerstone for strengthening both our local and regional economy, her investment supported the project's first phase. The support enabled critical interior and exterior hazard remediation, structural stabilization. The roof has been repaired, interior drainage issues resolved, asbestos and mold remediated, and 1,600 seats carefully removed to be refurbished. Additionally, we've done some exterior brickwork, repointing, to make it safe and restoring this building's historic beauty. Governor, your investment is at work. Thank you for that. And finally, her decision to return control of our public schools to local hands. That is a testament to her belief in local decision making. 4 years ago, it wasn't just a political promise. Her administration's involvement, I have to say, was very thoughtful, it was comprehensive, and it was responsible, making sure that in this transition that we never lose sight and focus of what's more important. That's our obligation to our kids. So thank you for that, Governor. Thank you and for following through on those commitments. And let me say what I've seen from her administration, the partnership she's built with cities and towns across the Commonwealth, yet alone Holyoke. That's what truly impresses me the most. That is what leadership looks like. It's not how you solve all the state's problems. It's how you work together with the people and respond when problems appear. I know supporting leaders isn't always easy. I understand that people face challenges, and sometimes it's hard to be fully aligned, especially through so much noise that we're hearing out there today. But supporting someone isn't just about every decision that they make and whether or not you agree with it. It's about the values they stand for. It's about whether they're responsive, whether they're committed to partnerships in figuring things out, and whether they're working for everybody, regardless of your politics against the leadership, regardless of what voter turnout looks like in your community, and whether how poor or wealthy a community might be. The Healey-Driscoll administration has shown time and time again that they are true partners in local governments, delivering real, meaningful support that lifts communities and makes a difference, even when sometimes we don't get it right. So thank you, Governor. Thank you for leading with action, for listening to communities like ours, and for always putting the people first, no matter how tough the noise gets out there. Together, through our shared values and common purpose, we can keep building stronger communities, more united Commonwealth, and Holyoke, the city of the #1 team sport in Massachusetts, birthplace of volleyball and home of the International Volleyball Hall of Fame. We are proud to be part of Team Massachusetts with Governor Maura Healey and Lieutenant Kim Driscoll. Yeah. We're going to give an opportunity for my state representative and other elected officials to speak, but I did skip an important part of the program, Rep, if you don't mind. Sure. George Murray, the Executive Director of the International Volleyball Hall of Fame. Thank you so much for hosting, and if you could just share some words.
Absolutely. So welcome to the International Volleyball Hall of Fame. We are the one Hall of Fame for the entire world. We welcome thousands of visitors from all 50 states, from 12 to 15 different countries every year, and we're excited that we have this home in Holyoke and the support of the City of Holyoke, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We're poised for a great expansion. We've been within this space since 1998. We're ready to grow. Volleyball is growing in the US and worldwide, and we want to take advantage of that. We are the keepers of the history, and we want to make sure that we're doing that the right way. We have a great goal that we can see with the Basketball Hall of Fame and what can be done, and we want to get there the same way. So we're very excited. We love having you guys here. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to host this, and welcome to Volleyball City. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. It's a great day. It's a great day here in Holyoke, and I'm just going to say a few words about what it's like to be a partner with Team Healey-Driscoll in the legislature. And I'm going to go even further back in history than the mayor. 2014, I was chair of the Holyoke Dems, and we invited all the candidates for Attorney General to come to a forum. And that is the first time I met Maura Healey in person, and I was sold. So I've been Team Healey ever since. Your work as Attorney General really, we've been facing these past 10 years a very swiftly changing federal and national landscape. She helped us lay the groundwork so that the people of Massachusetts have the protections they need in this uncertain time. And now, as her legislative partner, she leads and works with us in the legislature to make sure we're facing this moment. And maybe it's because you're an athlete, but she's got this remarkable ability to both be the steady voice we need and to pivot as crises arise. So Maura Healey, Kim Driscoll have my full-throated, wholehearted endorsement, and I'm thrilled to work to get them to stay on Beacon Hill and work with us in the legislature. Thank you. Oh, yes. And with that, I would like to introduce my colleague, my friend from Long Meadow, Brian Ash.
Thank you. First, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for welcoming us to the beautiful city of Holyoke. My dear friend, Pat Duffy. I am here wholeheartedly with Team Healey Driscoll as well. I first met, I think, Lieutenant Governor, well, we were Facebook friends for a long time. So I did feel like I knew her, yes. And I seriously, though, did watch what she did as mayor of Salem, and I was honored when we met when they ran last time, and she is as advertised. And not only the job she does, but just getting to know her as a person really makes you feel better about voting and working with. And the governor, who I met a long time ago when she was first running for Attorney General at the Long Meadow Democratic Town Committee meeting, and again, getting to know her, she is as advertised and more. She probably doesn't remember this from when I saved your life. All right, I'll tell it. Probably a few years back when you were still Attorney General, we were in Northampton at an art gallery for an event, and there was a grating on the stage. And I was watching going, if she backs up, her heel's gonna go right in there. And I don't wanna say I willed it to happen, but it happened. And the way I remember it is, I think I dove through the air, caught her just before she hit the ground, lifted her back up. I said, it's all right. Well, I wouldn't have said that, but it's so nice to have relationships like that where you can talk and be friendly and be yourself. It means the world to me. I've worked with a few governors, and one of them, we could never see eye to eye because I would look into his stomach when we spoke. So having a governor that I can actually look at eye to eye means the world to me. So I wholeheartedly 100% support Team Healey Driscoll. You've taken my breath away too. So thank you all for being here, and thank you guys so much for what you do.
Our council president, Tessa Murphy-Ramboletti, is here.
All right, I don't know how to top that kind of a story about, but we did meet in the bathroom stall at City Hall on St. Patrick's Parade Day, so I think that was fate. No, thanks everyone. My name's Tessa Murphy-Ramboletti. I am the City Council President here in Holyoke, and from the City Council's perspective, we have been doing a lot of really important work related to improving our city's municipal finances and the way that we are structured. And the mayor and I have been working very closely with our partners at the state to get us on the right track and move things forward so that we have a financial structure that will last us for generations to come and just really put us in a great position. And our friends on the state level with Team Healey Driscoll, they have been very invested in this, so much so that our lieutenant governor did reach out to the mayor the day after our legislation finally passed a couple weeks ago. And that's the kind of support that we need in Western Massachusetts. And now more than ever, we need strong, bold, courageous leadership on the state level. And so I'm also honored to join this group of people who are endorsing our governor and lieutenant governor. And I thank you so much for your continued partnership. And now I'd like to introduce Councilor Anderson Burgos.
Thank you, everyone. So I wasn't prepared to speak, but that's okay because it's coming from the heart. When I got into this line of work, what I really focused on was taking care of our most vulnerable. It's what brings me to work every day. It's what is in front of my mind every day, is working with and helping the most vulnerable. When I sat back and watched Governor Healey and Attorney General Driscoll do their work, that's exactly what captured my heart, was because that's the kind of work that I got into this for. So I can't thank you enough for your leadership, your dedication to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and that is why, not only as a city councilor, but as a colleague and a constituent, I truly endorse both Attorney General Driscoll and Governor Healey. Thank you so much.
And the last of the elected officials, before I call them up, just a quick shout out to our newly appointed superintendent of the Holyoke Public Schools, Jackie Machine, with us. We also have the chair of our Holyoke Redevelopment Authority, who happens to be your appointee governor, Pat Bougeri, is here with us as well. Thank you so much, Don Sanders and the MIFA team, Valley Opportunity Council, strong partners there, and the work they're doing. Matt Mainville, we called out, Vadim, and the work that they're doing on the north side of High Street and redevelopment around housing. And anybody else, really quick? So with that, Mayor Derby, my friend from the other side of the mountain.
So I just want to say thank you so much to Mayor Garcia for having me here today, and the governor and lieutenant governor for coming out to Holyoke. You know, I think we've heard some themes with the people that have been talking today. You know, it's easy for me as someone who's kind of new to this job to step in with a fresh eye and see who's supporting who. And, you know, one of the things that I felt from the get-go was I felt supported by Team Healey Driscoll. They reached out to me immediately when I became interim mayor, and I felt like I was part of a team. And, you know, I think if we ask ourselves, what is a team? What makes a team? You know, it's having a shared vision, shared values. And as I look at the things that are important to me, those shared values, like affordability, not just housing affordability, but affordability across the board. Affordability for utilities, affordability for food, and support of our most vulnerable citizens. I think that's a critical thing that we share. And I think as we look at, you know, bringing 351 cities and towns together, it's not the easiest thing to do. But I would say that this team has really taken an approach that makes people feel included. It makes people feel like their voice is being heard. And that's a critical, important part when you have municipalities working with the state. And a two-way dialogue, two-way communication is critical there. So, you know, while I'm still pretty new to this job, I've been able to see firsthand the support and the dedication that Team Healey Driscoll brings to the table. So for me, it was a no-brainer. This is an easy endorsement. So I fully endorse Team Healey Driscoll because I like being on this team. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Also, Eric Nakajima, Director of Planning and Economic Development in the House. Eric. And don't worry, Eric and Jackie, they're here on their time off, so before anyone asks. Without further ado, allow me to introduce to you now, up to the podium, our Governor, Maura Healey.
Well, what a great day for Kim and me to be here. It's great to be back in Holyoke. It's wonderful to be able to stand with these incredible leaders of this great community and to, with glee, accept their endorsement and support. You know, I want to thank Mayor Garcia for his leadership. We've partnered together on a lot, whether it's education and investments there, housing investments and growing both affordable and market rate housing here in Holyoke, public safety investments and violence prevention investments. I could go right down the list of things that we're really excited to have worked on. And you know, there's another area that we're always after, and that is economic development. And You know, I got to say, having come on the scene back in 2014, to see, you know, what's possible here in Holyoke, to see the commitment of so many leaders, both in government and outside of government, all rowing in the same direction to try to get things done and to create opportunities here. And I just want the people of Holyoke in particular to know that you have a partner in the Healey Driscoll team. Across the board, across our administration, we want for your success. We want for economic development and growth. We want job creation. We want more companies to come here, to expand here. We certainly want to see the Volleyball Hall of Fame supported and growing. As you know, George, and you're doing an awesome job, volleyball is like the sport that's just totally taken off around the country. And you know, when you think about the fact that at a little wide down the street on Appleton and Holyoke, volleyball was born, another Massachusetts first, it really is something great for Holyoke to celebrate. So, Mayor Garcia, thank you so much for hosting us here today in your great city, and thank you so much for your endorsement and support, and thank you for your continued leadership as we move forward. And to our great colleagues in the legislature, Representative Duffy, Representative Ash, thank you for all that we've been able to work on together. You know, we're the first administration in over 20 years to cut taxes, making sure that more money was back in the pockets of particularly lower income people and moderate income people. Passing the most historic housing bill in history that's resulted in 100,000 housing starts, either new housing units built, permitted, or constructed around the state. Build more housing, we drive down costs. The work that we've done around healthcare, including most recently to make sure that some 270,000 families in Massachusetts who were about to lose their health care because Trump and Republicans in Congress weren't going to continue those subsidies, we came in and made sure that people had coverage. So I'm grateful to you both for the continued partnership in the legislature as we work to move this region forward. And Brian, you absolutely should take entire credit for me being alive today. Not just here today, but alive. You know, imagine what might have happened. Thank God for your swiftness. Yeah, I'll remember you. But I also, you know, want to say something to the community leaders. I'm looking at Don. We toured Victory Theater just a few years ago, and thinking about economic development, one thing that we're really excited about in this region is the opportunity for more investment in arts and culture. And this is a great example. What Victory Theater is going to yield, what that's going to become, is going to be just so awesome. And both the LG and I are big fans of sports, and also big fans of arts and culture as economic drivers. So we're super excited about that. And to Tessa, Madam President, it is much appreciated, your endorsement, and to the counselor, thank you so much for yours as well. It is true. When I was running for Attorney General, I came out and marched in the Holyoke St. Patrick's Day Parade. It was great. It was awesome, and you got to really take in Holyoke. You got to take in all the neighborhoods. It was absolutely freezing, I do remember that. So there was a moment where I had to go into City Hall to the bathroom to change into some warmer clothes, and literally that's how we met each other. I was getting undressed and dressed in the bathroom, but it's really, really great to be here. You know, I also wanted to just knock off a few, or I shouldn't say knock off, but it bears noting, okay, some of the accomplishments. And you know, they are accomplishments. We're here in a place that celebrates teamwork, and I think politics and government is the ultimate team sport. I really, really do, and I think that we have some great things to show for it. Over the last few years, we've made major investments to increase housing supply, to drive down prices. I think about tax credits for the South Holyoke Homes project. That came out of a $5 billion allotment in that major housing bill that we were able to get done. And you know, that's exactly the kind of housing we need to be building. I think about the ability to increase some of the market rate homes. You look at $1 million for the development over on Lyman Street. That's market rate housing, really important that that's coming online. Again, you know, part of an investment and a commitment we made to the people of Holyoke. I think about the Soldiers' Home. You know, this was a tale of terrible tragedy, and there are a lot of families devastated by what happened there a few years ago during the COVID epidemic and the 76 veterans whose lives were lost. I made a vow then as Attorney General that if ever in the position, I was going to do everything I could to make sure that we had world-class facilities there. And I'm so proud of the work done at the site to build what is really a world-class home with world-class treatment, befitting of the care that our veterans deserve. And most recently, the VA gave the home ranking as one of the best veterans homes in America. So, you know, that's a good story. And it shows what's possible when people work together with energy and focus. There was mention of the schools, and we welcome the new superintendent. You may know, yes, give her.
It's back under local control.
Yes.
First local control decision.
You know, it's a great thing, and I want to credit you, Mayor, for the work that you did in working to restore local control to Holyoke and Holyoke schools. And I want to thank, of course, the school committee, educators, and of course our students and families. You had a fellow out here for a little bit. His name was Steve Strike. You may remember him. Okay, we thought he did a pretty good job here. We've now named him to succeed Secretary Pat Tutwiler as Massachusetts Secretary of Education. Yeah. So, you know, I think that's a great thing, and also a great thing for partnership with Holyoke, given his familiarity with the district. So know, please, that Holyoke is always going to be top of mind in our administration, and we are here for you. As I said, we're focused on affordability. We're focused on building more homes as quickly as we can to drive down costs. Experts said when we started that we needed to build about 220,000 homes around Massachusetts by 2035, just to get to where we need. And as I just said, we've already got 100,000 underway in just 3 years. So we know the formula, we know what we need to do, and we're just going to keep pedal to the metal on that. We're giving first-time home buyers $25,000 towards the purchase of a new home. We made ADUs something that people could do by right. You know, if you had a garage or extra space on your property and you could build out an apartment for in-laws or for a child who is no longer a child but still is living at home because they haven't been able to afford rent, now's the opportunity to do that. We took the state level review of environmental regulations for housing developments from over a year just down to 30 days, okay? Something that took over a year, this team brought it down to 30 days. That's the kind of focus and urgency we're trying to bring to everything. Housing, also energy. We announced that we're working to lower the cost of energy. Standing up to utility companies will oppose any rate hike out there. We recently got rebates for people on electric bills and gas bills for the next couple of months, and I filed energy legislation which will reduce energy costs by $13 billion. I look forward to working with the legislature on all of that, and I know they're working hard on that, okay? Incidentally, we just flipped the switch on hydro coming down from Quebec into Massachusetts, and that's going to supply about 20% of our electricity need, which is a big deal and why we continue to support all of the above when it comes to energy sources. When it comes to healthcare, another major issue for people, we're the first team to eliminate co-pays and deductibles for people on their healthcare. We also, about a month ago, got rid of prior authorizations for a whole bunch of stuff. For example, if you've got diabetes, you no longer have to wait for some insurance company to okay you're receiving insulin, right? So we're trying to make it easier for people to get access to care. And, you know, we fundamentally believe in this. At a moment where the President and Congress have taken $1 trillion out of health care, we stand here united in support of making sure that we're doing everything we can to get health care to our residents who need it. Look, the bottom line, yep. The bottom line is both Kim and I feel incredibly privileged to be in these positions. We also deeply, deeply love our state, and we want to work and stand shoulder to shoulder with everyone and anyone who believes in our state and who wants better for their community, for their family, and will work so hard to get that done. I'm excited about some of what we've been able to accomplish. We know that these are hard and challenging times. Both of us were college basketball players, so we do know a little bit about taking lumps and getting back up, and throwing the necessary elbow when necessary, or a pick when necessary. But fundamentally, whether it's volleyball or basketball, it's about teamwork, okay? And that's the vibe that we'll continue to bring, not only to the campaign as we seek to grow more support, but also to the way that we look to govern. So again, I want to thank everyone who stood with us today for the support, and know that we are really, really excited about all that lays ahead.
Where's the Gatorade?
Say something.
I will, you did, yeah.
I just want to say, there's nobody, for the press out there, you probably have seen the Lieutenant Governor many, many times in Holyoke and in the 413 generally, Hampden County, Franklin County, Northern Berkshire, Southern Berkshire, Hampshire, you name it. And I can just tell you that she is about getting stuff done. She is about getting to yes. She's about finding solutions. And she brings an exuberance and a joy for this job every single day. So, Lieutenant Governor,
I appreciate that. Thanks. I am always happy to be here in Holyoke and joined by local officials, both from Holyoke and from East Hampton. I think you picked up a theme that we really do think of this as a team sport. The work that's happening at local government, as someone who's been a longtime mayor and a former mayor, I know how critical that is. Educating our kids, keeping our neighborhoods safe, investing in places where you make memories, whether it's a special park or a downtown corridor. And that's why we've worked so hard with a committed governor to make sure when we think about the work we're doing at the State House, how does it relate to what's happening on Main Street? How does it impact a local school, a local business, a local community? And how do we uplift and empower the amazing things that are happening at the local government? We can have the best policies, and I think we have a lot of them. We can make significant investments in things like housing and infrastructure. But none of that gets done unless we've got a strong team locally, building that housing, supporting that infrastructure, growing that high quality of life. And that's why it's such a privilege to be serving at a time when we have the ability to work with amazing leaders, shape policies, shift resources, and do things that are going to help communities, lower cost, drive high quality of life, and make Massachusetts the best place to live, to raise a family, to come visit. And all of us contribute to that every single day. So pleased to be here, looking forward to running for re-election and doing the things that really matter and making a difference in where people live, whether it's in the 413, in Merrimack Valley, in the South Coast. It's a big state, and we embrace all of it. Every place is special, and they've got tools and resources, and we just love working with all of you to leverage it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, and I do want to acknowledge Mayor Derby. He's hit the ground running, and no surprise, he's a coach himself and knows a little something about that. And you know, we love East Hampton so much that we named your predecessor to head up Department of Conservation and Recreation, Nicole LaChapelle, right? So just know that people back in Boston are paying attention big time to the 413. With that, we're happy to take any questions, if there are any.
You talked a little bit about economic development and jobs. Is there anything new related to CRRC in the T and the trade issues?
Yeah, you know, this is one of these situations where we can't control tariffs. That's on the President of the United States. We can't control inflation. You know, he's frankly doing things that are making life a lot more challenging for a lot of us right now who are preparing budgets and trying to find ways to support people and support our economies, support our employers and our small businesses. When it comes to that matter, I can tell you that GM Phil Ang is all over it. He's in and continues to be in discussions with the company to try to find a way through so that we get those trains online as quickly as possible. We need them for our public transit system. As an administration, we are going to be investing $8 billion over the next 10 years on public transportation. That's not just for the T or the commuter rail. It's also for expanded regional transit authorities. It's for fixing roads and bridges, culverts, you name it, things that you know, contribute to some of the traffic woes. So it's something that has our real focus right now. And some of this, you know, all of this has been created. The problem there, the delay there, is a product of President Trump and the federal administration imposing roadblocks to that coming online. So we're trying to work through that and trying to do everything we can.
What is your relationship with the Fed? What is your relationship with the administration at this point?
I've said from the outset that we'll continue to look for ways to work with the federal administration, as I always have, as Attorney General and as Governor. And where the President or the federal administration do things to harm people, we're going to stand up and defend Massachusetts. When they took away SNAP benefits, we were right there raising money for our food pantries, supporting our local farmers, making sure that even though President Trump was the first and only president in history to take away SNAP benefits during a federal shutdown, Massachusetts wasn't going to let our people go hungry. When Trump and RFK took away vaccines, Massachusetts stepped forward and we had our public health commissioner write a prescription for everybody in the state, got insurance companies to pay for shots, and as a result, in Massachusetts, if you want a vaccine, you're going to be able to get a vaccine. So, you know, it's just, and, you know, when I think about the absolutely cruel and horrific actions of ICE, acting at the direction of the President of the United States, this is another area where Massachusetts has stood up. And, you know, I say as somebody who was a prosecutor and attorney general who used to work with federal agencies on going after real bad guys, I know something about this. And I can tell you that ICE is not making our communities safer in Massachusetts or anywhere in the country right now. And that's why we have pushed back strong. I issued an executive order that bans ICE from schools and daycares and hospitals. We filed legislation, and we're working on that keeps ICE out of courthouses and places of worship. I've also issued an order that says no state resources are going to be used for ICE's efforts, and I've called on the President to bring all the ICE agents back and reform that agency. So, you know, again, wherever the federal administration is here to support states as they are supposed to do, and our residents and our economies, sign me up. We're right there. But, you know, unfortunately, this is a federal administration that doesn't seem to want to operate that way. You know, they've defunded science and research, which is a big blow to our economy here in Massachusetts. Think of all our colleges and universities, including many in the 413. They've taken away funding for housing, for health care, for veterans programs, for violence prevention programs, for FEMA and disaster relief. You could just go right down the list, all the while imposing tariffs on a whim that are making it a lot harder for people, including manufacturers and businesses here in Western Massachusetts, to have predictability and to keep growing. So, you know, that's where I am on the administration.
All right, we've got time for one more quick question.
Just a softball question. Do you have
Oh, this says you.
I was curious if you're giving up any.
What's your hat? I can't see. What course is that?
It's a local country club.
Which one?
The Orchards.
Okay, yeah, of course, great.
I was curious if you have any plans on giving up anything for Lent.
Yeah, is it clap for the Orchards? Okay, great.
I was just curious if you had any plans on giving up anything for Lent.
For giving up for Lent. There's a lot of things I'd love to give up. You know, I think for me, no, let me think about that. How much time do I have? Do I have a week?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's Ash Wednesday? Oh my God, tomorrow is Ash Wednesday. I am going to get ashes. I'm going to think about that. Okay, I'm going to think about that. You know what I might do this year? I might focus more on an act of kindness, a concerted effort every day to do something positive, you know, for someone. I think actually that's what we all need right now, you know? I mean, this country, we need community. We need people working together. We need people supporting one another. I've certainly seen beautiful signs of that, the way that people have stepped forward to support neighbors in need, to feed hungry kids, to look after seniors, you know, to do the things that need doing. So I think that's going to be something that I'm going to focus on, you know, during this time.
All right, great.
Good questions.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.